There was a time when a single voice could stop people in their tracks. Soft, smooth, almost effortless, it drifted through radios, dance halls, and living rooms across America. That voice belonged to Smokey Robinson, a man whose songs didn't just climb the charts, they became part of people's lives. Long before streaming services and viral videos, Smokey was writing melodies that generations would never forget. His words captured first love, heartbreak, hope, and forgiveness with a rare kind of honesty. Whether he was singing with the Miracles or writing timeless classics for other Motown stars, he helped create the soundtrack of an era that still lives on today. For millions of fans, Smokey Robinson represents more than music. He represents memories. First dances, family road trips, summer evenings with the radio turned up. His songs have outlived trends, outlived record labels, and even outlived many of the people who first fell in love with them. But time has a way of changing every life. No matter how bright the spotlight once was, the years eventually bring new challenges. Fame cannot stop aging. Success cannot erase personal struggles. Even legends must face loss, uncertainty, and the quiet moments that come after the applause fades. Today, Smokey Robinson is no longer the young man who transformed American music alongside Motown's greatest stars. His life looks very different now, shaped by decades of triumph, personal hardship, resilience, and reflection. In this video, we're taking a closer look at the man behind the music. You'll discover what Smokey Robinson's life looks like today, the personal battles he has faced away from the stage, how growing older has changed his everyday life, the victories and disappointments that followed extraordinary success, what continues to inspire him after so many decades, and why countless longtime fans find themselves emotional when they see where life has taken one of music's most beloved voices. And before the story is over, you'll understand why the greatest chapter of Smokey Robinson's life was never just about the records he sold, but about everything that came after. Smokey Robinson's story began far from the bright lights of Hollywood. He was born William Robinson Jr. on February 19, 1940, in Detroit, Michigan, a city that was rapidly becoming one of America's industrial powerhouses. His neighborhood was modest, filled with hard-working families who dreamed of building better lives for their children. His nickname came long before fame. According to Robinson, a family friend affectionately called him Smokey Joe, and over time the name simply became Smokey. It stayed with him for the rest of his life. Growing up, music surrounded him. Church hymns echoed through neighborhoods on Sundays. Rhythm and blues poured from radios. Jazz, gospel, and doo-wop blended together in a city overflowing with young talent. Detroit wasn't just producing automobiles, it was quietly producing future music legends. Even as a teenager, Robinson displayed an unusual gift. He wasn't simply interested in singing. He loved words. He admired poetry and storytelling. While many young performers focused only on vocals, Smokey was already thinking like a songwriter. He wanted songs that people could feel, not just hear. During high school, he formed a vocal group with several friends. That group would eventually become known as The Miracles. At first, success seemed distant. Like countless aspiring musicians, they performed wherever opportunities appeared. Local venues, community events, small gatherings. They worked tirelessly, hoping someone important might notice. That opportunity arrived through a remarkable meeting with a young entrepreneur who shared their dream. His name was Berry Gordy. When Gordy heard Robinson perform, he immediately recognized something special. Their partnership would forever change American music. Before Motown became one of the most influential record labels in history, Robinson was already helping shape its creative direction. He wasn't simply another artist on the roster. He became one of the company's earliest stars and one of Gordy's closest creative partners. As Motown grew throughout the 1960s, so did Smokey Robinson's influence. With The Miracles, he delivered hit after hit. Songs like Shop Around, You've Really Got a Hold on Me, The Tracks of My Tears, Oh 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 Baby Baby, I Second That Emotion, and Tears of a Clown became classics that continue to receive airplay decades later. His voice stood apart. It wasn't the loudest. It wasn't the most dramatic. Instead, it carried warmth, tenderness, and emotional honesty that listeners immediately recognized. He could express heartbreak without shouting, joy without excess, and love without cliches. But Robinson's greatest contribution reached far beyond his own recordings. Behind the scenes, he became one of Motown's most gifted songwriters. He wrote and co-wrote countless hits for other legendary artists, helping define the unmistakable Motown sound that conquered America and eventually the world. His songwriting combined poetic imagery with simple language that ordinary people immediately understood. Few writers possessed that balance. Many critics have compared his lyrical style to classic poetry because of the elegance hidden inside seemingly effortless love songs. As Motown expanded, Robinson became one of its creative foundations. Young performers admired him. Established artists respected him. Executives trusted his instincts. His influence reached across generations, inspiring singers and songwriters from soul and R&B to pop and contemporary music. Over the decades, artists from countless musical backgrounds have cited Smokey Robinson as an inspiration, praising both his voice and his remarkable songwriting ability. Recognition naturally followed. He earned induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He received major lifetime achievement honors, celebrated decades of songwriting excellence, and was recognized as one of the defining figures of American popular music. By then, Smokey Robinson had become much more than a successful entertainer. He had become an institution. His music crossed racial, cultural, and generational boundaries during a period when America itself was changing dramatically. His songs helped introduce Motown's sound to audiences around the globe while proving that heartfelt music could unite people from every background. Yet even as his career soared higher than anyone could have imagined, life continued moving forward. The years passed. The music industry changed. New stars emerged. The pressures of maintaining success became more complicated than fans could see from the outside. Behind every standing ovation stood a man balancing expectations, relationships, business decisions, and the demands of an extraordinary career. The world still saw the smile. The public still heard the beautiful voice. But away from concert stages and recording studios, Smokey Robinson was beginning to face challenges that no amount of talent could prevent. Those chapters would test him in ways that success never could, and they would reveal a side of his life that many fans knew very little about. By the time the 1970s arrived, Smokey Robinson had already accomplished what many musicians only dream about. He had written classics, performed around the world, and helped transform Motown from a small Detroit label into a global music powerhouse. But extraordinary success often comes with extraordinary pressure. For years, Robinson had balanced two demanding roles. He wasn't just a recording artist. He was also one of Motown's most trusted executives, serving as the company's vice president while continuing to write, produce, and perform. The schedule was relentless. Days were filled with business meetings. Nights belonged to the studio or the stage. Eventually, something had to give. In 1972, Robinson made the difficult decision to leave The Miracles as their lead singer. It wasn't because he had fallen out of love with music. Instead, he hoped stepping away would allow him to spend more time with his family and focus on his executive responsibilities at Motown. For fans, it marked the end of an era. The Miracles had become inseparable from Smokey's voice. His departure left many wondering whether the magic could continue. While the group carried on with a new lead singer, audiences naturally associated its greatest years with the man who had helped create its identity. Retirement, however, didn't last. Music had always been more than a profession. It was part of who he was. Within a few years, Robinson returned as a solo artist. The transition wasn't automatic. Building a solo career after years with an iconic group presented new challenges. Audiences had to rediscover him in a different role, and the music industry itself was evolving rapidly. Then came another turning point. In 1979, Robinson released Where There's Smoke, featuring the hit single, Cruisin'. The song became one of the defining love songs of its era and introduced him to an entirely new generation of listeners. Its smooth, relaxed style reminded everyone that Smokey Robinson's gift for romance and melody had not faded. Only a couple of years later, he reached another career high with Being With You, a song that became an international success. Once again, Robinson proved he could adapt without abandoning the timeless qualities that made his music special. Yet while audiences celebrated these achievements, Robinson has spoken openly about a much darker chapter unfolding behind the scenes. During the mid-1980s, he struggled with cocaine addiction. Unlike many celebrities who never discuss their lowest moments, Robinson has publicly described how addiction gradually took control of his life. He later explained that what began as experimentation turned into dependency, affecting both his personal life and his ability to think clearly. He has said that there were periods when he isolated himself from friends and family, convincing himself everything was under control when it clearly wasn't. The public knew almost nothing. Concerts continued. Albums were released. The smiling public image remained intact. But privately, Robinson later acknowledged that addiction had become one of the greatest battles of his life. His recovery came through a combination of personal determination, support from loved ones, and a renewed commitment to rebuilding his life. In interviews over the years, he has expressed gratitude that he survived that period, recognizing that many talented people from his generation were not as fortunate. Recovery didn't erase the past. Instead, it became part of his story, a reminder that even people admired around the world can struggle with deeply personal challenges invisible to everyone else. His personal life also experienced significant changes. Robinson married fellow Miracle Claudette Rogers in 1959. Together they shared decades of marriage and raised children while navigating the unusual demands of fame. Their relationship endured the pressures of touring, recording schedules, and public attention for many years. But maintaining a marriage under constant scrutiny is rarely simple. Eventually, after more than a quarter century together, the couple divorced in 1986. Although the end of such a long marriage was undoubtedly painful, Robinson has generally spoken respectfully about that chapter of his life. Their shared history remained an important part of both their personal lives and Motown's remarkable story. Years later, he found love again, marrying Frances Gladney in 2002. Together, they have often appeared at public events, with Gladney becoming a steady presence during the later stages of Robinson's career. Meanwhile, the music industry around him was changing faster than ever. The Motown era that had defined the 1960s gradually gave way to disco, then pop, hip-hop, digital recording, streaming platforms, and social media. Entire generations of performers rose to fame using methods that barely existed when Robinson first stepped into a recording studio. Many artists from his era quietly disappeared from public attention. Smokey Robinson didn't. Instead of trying to imitate younger performers, he embraced his own identity. He continued writing, recording, and performing, understanding that authenticity mattered more than chasing trends. His concerts became something unique. Older fans attended to relive cherished memories. Younger audiences came to experience a living piece of music history. That rare combination allowed Robinson to remain relevant across generations. As the years passed, public attention naturally shifted from chart positions to legacy. People began recognizing not only the songs he performed but also the enormous influence he had on American music itself. Songwriters praised his lyrical craftsmanship. Singers admired the emotional subtlety of his voice. Historians pointed to his role in building Motown into one of the most influential labels in history. Yet time affects everyone equally. Birthdays became larger milestones. Tours became more carefully planned. The pace of life inevitably slowed. Robinson continued appearing before audiences, but fans couldn't help noticing the visible passage of time. The youthful singer they remembered from black and white television specials had become an elder statesman of American music. And perhaps that is what makes his story so emotional. Not because of scandal, not because of sensational headlines, but because millions of people have watched someone who once seemed almost timeless grow older before their eyes. Every appearance now carries decades of memories. Every performance reminds audiences not only of the songs but also of the years that have passed since they first heard them. Still, even these deeply personal battles and the challenges of aging are only part of the story. Because today's chapter of Smokey Robinson's life reveals something even more touching. A portrait of a man who continues moving forward despite the passage of time, determined to keep sharing the music that first brought him into the hearts of millions. Today, Smokey Robinson stands as one of the last living architects of the original Motown sound. Born in 1940, he is now in his 80s. An age that naturally brings changes no amount of talent or fame can prevent. For fans who remember the young man with a smooth voice and effortless stage presence, seeing him today is often an emotional experience. Not because his accomplishments have faded, but because time has touched him just as it touches everyone. His appearance has changed over the decades. His pace is slower than it once was. The endless touring schedule of his younger years has become more selective. Yet one thing remains remarkably familiar. When he steps in front of an audience, the passion for music is still there. Rather than disappearing from public life, Robinson has continued to stay active. He still records music, makes television appearances, gives interviews, and performs concerts, choosing engagements that fit his schedule and energy. Fans who attend his shows often describe them as more than concerts. They're celebrations of a musical era that helped define American culture. One of the most remarkable things about Robinson is that he has never seemed interested in living only in the past. Instead of treating his career as something that ended decades ago, he has continued creating. Over the years, he has released new albums, collaborated with younger artists, and embraced opportunities to introduce his music to audiences who weren't even born during Motown's golden years. That willingness to keep moving forward has become one of his defining qualities. Away from the spotlight, Robinson has spoken about appreciating a quieter rhythm of life than he once knew. While he still enjoys performing, he has also emphasized the importance of spending time with family, maintaining close relationships, and taking care of his health. He has often credited exercise, a positive outlook, and staying mentally engaged as important parts of aging well. In interviews, he has expressed gratitude for being able to continue doing the work he loves after so many decades. His marriage to Frances Gladney has remained an important source of stability during this chapter of his life. The couple has frequently appeared together at public events, and Robinson has spoken warmly about the support he has received from those closest to him. Family has also taken on greater meaning as the years have passed. Like many people reaching later stages of life, Robinson has reflected on the importance of relationships over achievements. Awards, record sales, and chart positions remain significant, but they are no longer the only measures of a life well lived. His influence reaches far beyond his own recordings. Generations of musicians continue to study his songwriting, pointing to his ability to express powerful emotions with remarkable simplicity. His work has been covered, sampled, and celebrated by artists across soul, R&B, pop, rock, and even hip-hop. Many younger listeners first discover Smokey Robinson through songs written for other artists before realizing just how many classics came from his pen. Financially, Robinson's decades-long career has provided lasting success. Through songwriting royalties, recording, publishing, performances, and other ventures connected to his music, he has remained one of the most respected figures in the industry. More importantly, his true wealth can be measured by something that cannot be counted in dollars: the extraordinary influence his music continues to have on people around the world. His legacy has also been recognized through numerous lifetime achievement honors and continued celebration by music organizations and fellow artists. Whenever Motown's history is discussed, Smokey Robinson's name is never far from the beginning of the conversation. Yet perhaps the most touching moments come during his recent public appearances. Fans who grew up listening to his music often arrive with children and grandchildren beside them. 3 generations sometimes sit together in the same audience, singing lyrics written more than half a century ago. That is an achievement very few artists ever experience. The songs have become family traditions. They have survived changing fashions, changing technology, and changing generations. For longtime admirers, seeing Robinson today can be bittersweet. Not because his story ended in tragedy, not because his accomplishments have been forgotten, but because his life reminds us of something deeply human. The young man who once stood at the beginning of an extraordinary journey has become an elder whose career stretches across more than 6 decades. His voice, his appearance, and his daily routine have naturally evolved with age, just as they do for every person fortunate enough to grow older. When fans say it breaks their heart to see Smokey Robinson today, it is often not out of sadness for him. It is because they recognize the passage of time in their own lives. The songs that once played during first dates, weddings, family gatherings, or long drives home now carry decades of memories. Seeing the artist who created those moments reminds listeners of loved ones they've lost, years that have passed, and the remarkable journey that music can accompany throughout a lifetime. Robinson himself has often spoken with gratitude rather than regret. He has reflected on how fortunate he feels to have spent his life doing what he loves. Even after decades of success, he continues to express appreciation for the fans who have supported him from one generation to the next. That attitude may be his greatest lesson. Fame comes and goes. Hit records eventually leave the charts. New stars always arrive. But kindness, creativity, perseverance, and genuine love for one's craft can leave an impact that outlives every trend. Smokey Robinson helped shape the sound of Motown, but he also helped shape the emotional language of popular music. His songs taught listeners that vulnerability could be beautiful, that love deserved careful words, and that sincerity never goes out of style. His story isn't one of a fallen star. It's the story of a man who experienced remarkable success, faced personal struggles, overcame addiction, adapted to changing times, and continues to share his gift long after many of his contemporaries have stepped away. That is why his legacy remains secure. Not because he refused to age, but because he continued to create, to perform, and to inspire while embracing each new chapter of life with dignity. Long after the final concert ends and the last standing ovation fades, Smokey Robinson's music will continue to play in homes, on radios, and in hearts around the world. And perhaps that's the greatest measure of a life well lived.